pedal starts button on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's a good one. Hello and welcome to the Heat of the Night, where we tackle 4 wings and 4 questions from mild to crazy hot. My name is Chris Fedling. I'm the IT coordinator here at Lincoln Way Central. And with me today, we have a very special guest. Today's guest has been a teacher, coach, dean of students, assistant principal, director of personnel, principal, and our current superintendent of Lincoln Way District 210, Dr. Scott Tingley. Dr. Tingley, welcome to Heat of the Night.
Thanks
Thank you for
having
being
me.
here. So how do you do with spicy foods? Like, what's your go-to?
I guess we'll see. I enjoy spicy food. I don't know about this spicy though.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
This is a different level of hot, but I think you can handle it. I feel pretty confident. So before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to personally thank you on behalf of Lincoln Way Central for everything you've done for our district. Our district has been through a lot the last 10 years, and one of the big reasons where we are is because of you. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you, specifically at our school too. So let's go ahead and jump in to wing number 1. We have Hala Peppa. Cheers, here we go.
Good.
Jalapeno, I always like this one.
Nice easy start there.
Yeah, see, we get it easy. So you grew up in Effingham, attending St. Anthony High School, before moving on to Eastern Illinois University, my alma mater also for your undergrad. You completed your master's in admin and supervision from Governor State before completing your doctorate in administration and supervision from Loyola. But I'd like to take you back to your days of high school. So this is Scott Tingley. What was Scott Tingley like in high school, and did he ever envision himself being a superintendent?
Certainly not. Did I think I'd be a superintendent? As a student, I could have been a much better student. No question about it. Effingham St. Anthony was a special place. It's where I learned a lot of my discipline, hard work, and some of the toughness. But I really learned a lot through sports. We were very competitive, baseball and basketball. I played 4 years in each, and was able to run track because we had a smaller school. So I think my formative days were certainly growing up and going through Effingham St. Anthony. Could have spent a little bit more time probably on the books, but did learn that work ethic and hard work.
So I did some research on you and had to talk to some people, and I've heard a story from someone close to you about a specific teacher and her reaction to you having your doctorate when you got to meet her again. Give me some insight.
That'd be Sister Florentia. One of the things that our public school students don't get to experience is being taught by nuns, and Sister Flo was very tough. She used the yardstick. She wasn't afraid to use the yardstick, whether it be arms, wrists, ankles, you name it. Missed questions, turn talking. She and I had an up and down relationship through high school. I had her as a freshman, grew up a little bit then by the time I had her as a junior, and I still keep in touch with many of my priests and nuns from those days. And yeah, she was quite shocked that I ended up kind of where I am.
Was it like rewarding for you, like talking to her about what you've done and all the things you've accomplished?
It was, even though I wasn't always as focused as I could have been as a student, I think that our teachers at St. Anthony, just like they are here, focus on the good in students, and don't give up. They stay on them. They have a very high level of expectations, and I think that certainly helped me throughout my life.
So we have almost 7,000 kids in our district. So like, what advice would you have for high school students who are watching about what you, from your experiences as from high school all the way to the superintendent?
Biggest thing is take advantage of opportunities. I was fortunate to play multiple sports. I was involved in clubs and activities. Could have focused a little bit more on school in high school, but then I did much better in college, and then I progressed as a student as I went through. Probably some of my best time was working towards my doctorate, which you'd expect. You're more mature, but I think the biggest thing is to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves in all of our.
Yeah, it's crazy the kids who actually get involved just have more success.
They do.
It's not very complicated. So.
Correct.
Awesome. Let's go to wing 2, the ginger goat. This is another. We get a little bit spicier. The color will fool you though. I don't. little spicier.
Still okay.
So you have a wonderful family, starting with your wife, Jen, who's also a teacher, along with your kids, Nick, Luke, and Mia. I tell a lot of people, if you want to know how great the staff thinks Lincoln Way is ask how many people, staff members we have kids here. It's a ton of staff members' kids, so it's awesome. And what's your favorite part about the experience you've seen your kids have at all the Lincoln Way area schools from kindergarten on up?
My motto always was, I always, when I was coaching or teaching, I wanted to coach or teach kids how they would want their own children taught or coached. And I think I've seen that through the progression of my own students through our school systems,
Yeah.
both at 122 and at Lincoln Way Central in particular. That high level of expectation, but yet that care and compassion, I think that's very important. I do think our coaches and our teachers teach and coach all children like they want their own children taught or coached. And I think that's kind of that's something to hang your hat on. And like I said, I think I've seen that with all my kids throughout the process.
Yeah, you have great kids, and we're lucky to have a couple of them, and eventually the third. So
yeah, the jury's still out on the next two. Nick did a good job. Luke's off to a good start, but I can tell you, he absolutely loves high school. As you know, Nick loved it here.
Correct.
And it was devastating for that group of kids to not have their normal senior year. That particular class, had done some really good things their first 2.5 years, and then, kind of had to deal with some adversity. They're all stronger because of it, but certainly a good group. But I do go back to our staff has been outstanding.
So I'd be amiss if I didn't mention what you would say, some would say is the most important part of your family, your dogs, Ozzy and Sunny.
Yep.
Did you ever think that you would have two dogs?
I didn't think my wife would ever let us have any dogs. So she was anti-dog. I grew up out in the country. We had dogs, cats, never in the house, but we had pets. And so finally got Ozzy. We've had him for 4 years. He's fantastic. Just recently we got Sunny. Don't know if that was a good decision or not. We'll see. But she's getting acclimated. But yeah, it's been fun.
And Ozzy got to participate in the first day of school.
Ozzy was a guest star as he jumped out the window on the way in. He thought he needed to go with Luke. He goes everywhere with Luke.
Everyone says, whose dog is jumping out? And then Mr. DiPolo, the assistant principal, goes, oh, that's Dr. Tingley's dog.
Mr. Bird was there, who also knows Ozzy, and was like, Luke kept walking.
So now we get to the portion that everyone dreads, the bomb, beyond insanity. Shout out to Hot Ones. This is borderline unintelligent. I'm doing this one. So.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Head will start sweating on that one.
Yeah. That one's a good one. Woo. Yeah. It always gets in my throat.
Not there yet. It's taking care of my tongue.
I try to not get on the lips. That's the hard part. So when I got the Lincoln Way, I knew you as Coach Tingley, basketball coach. What do you miss most about coaching? Because I'm sure that was like one of the hardest parts of moving to administration, even being a superintendent, is not getting to coach at the high school level.
Ooh. I miss the connection with the players. Don't necessarily miss the games, miss the practice time, but it's that connection. It's that relationships that you build over time. Still close with my players today that I coached back in the mid-90s. So I do miss that connection.
I'm sure you get part of that coaching with your kids, because you have gotten to coach your kids and have that opportunity. Would you say that is a close comparison to coaching at the high school, or is it just a totally different perspective for you?
Different perspective because they're at a different place in their maturity and development. I enjoyed coaching that sophomore to senior and watching them turn into young men.
Yeah. That one's hot.
That was real hot.
That one's a real deal. Deal.
I'm struggling.
All right, so
are these things helping or no?
I haven't tried them, but someone told me they worked. Our Brandy Kuchowski, our foods person, says a mint can help. Okay. So we have this segment called Explain That Pick. And along with your coaching, we have this coaching picture of you, and they'll put it up on the screen of you coaching. Give us some context to this picture and why it means so much to you.
Well, it was interesting. That was my first year coaching at Lamont. And that was kind of before and after. We did not have a good first half. They held the photographer out for my first 2 or 3 minutes. Then I let him come in once I had calmed down and started instructing. We came back in the second half. Ended up beating a good Sycamore team. Won a good game there. And so that was my first year coaching at Lamont. First year as a head basketball coach.
Well, what a special picture. I'm sure that's one that you treasure because you don't get that first game back. Awesome. So we're moving on to our last one, and this is called The Last Dab at the Apollo. So what we like to do is we like to put a little bitty extra dab on here. But you got to be very careful because this comes out quick. I'm like trying to baby it a little bit. Just a little bit, because a little goes a long way when it comes to the last dab.
After that last one.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. All right, here we go. Last one.
So you're a veteran at this. You keep it off the lips. I made a mistake.
Yeah, the lips, that's a burn. I will tell you, though, after you get through this one doesn't seem as hot anymore because how crazy that one was.
That's doable compared to that.
Yeah, 100%. It's still hot, but it's not nearly as bad. So we have a district that has 3 great schools. Rather than ask you what school you like best, can you tell us from a superintendent and parent's eyes, like, what do you think is so special about Lincoln Way Central? Because you've had kids here and you get to experience it every single day.
Yeah, each of our high schools is unique. I think my students, my own children's experience at Central has been a good fit for them. We know East is just a little bit bigger. West is about the same size. They all have different dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, I like the connectivity at Central. Many of our teachers were Knights.
Yeah.
My wife was a Knight, and it's just been a good fit for my kids. I think they would have been great. They would have done well at West or East as well. But for them, it's been a good fit here. And I think the staff and their connectivity to the students, I think, is essential.
And there's something special about the original.
Yeah.
Right? Especially for people around here. So once again, I want to have a special thanks to Dr. Tingley. It takes a brave person to come on this show, eat these hot sauces, and survive. I want to shout out remember this show is all done by students. This is Devin Smith and Kyle Pearson. They do all the work for this. Devin is lead producer. Kyle does all the editing. They're incredible. They're doing such a great job. This is our, I think, 10th episode of this. So
this is the most milk I've ever drank in one sitting.
So once again, thanks to Dr. Tingley for joining us on this episode of Heat of the Night, where we tackle tough questions and even tougher wings. Thanks for watching.